Well, good morning, folks. Welcome to the Coding Coach. I am the Coding Coach, and I'm going to show you how to do some coding. Hang on a minute. This is a lesson on creating impact, on creating an impressive tutorial, on how to make your game impressive, and I've started my lesson like that. Well, that's not good enough, is it? Hang on, folks. Let's do that again. Just pretend that didn't happen. And let's see if we can make it a little bit more impressive. Okay, here we go. Stand by. Now that's more like it. And that's how we do a presentation, folks. That's how we have an intro, isn't it? Welcome to the Coding Coach. Honestly, I ask you. Good morning, folks. I was just messing with you there. How are you doing? I hope you're well. It's a lovely sunny day outside and we're on lesson 4. We're going to do some coding today. So, think about impact. How did the lesson start today? The first introduction I did was pretty dull, wasn't it? It wasn't great. The second one, well, we put a bit of work into that. We made it look a bit impressive. We had sound and we had fancy graphics and stuff. And quite probably when you watch this on playback, Disney will have had the music banned from it, so you won't hear it. But never mind. Let's hope they're not too upset at what I just did. It was just a bit of fun. Now then, we need to think about impact when we're creating a game. We have got a wonderful computer game so far. We have already created all sorts of stuff for it. Let's just have a quick recap on that. We've created sprites for it, we've created objects in the game, and we've created platforms. And now what we need to do is just put that all together, polish it up, make it impressive, package it in some impressive wrapping. And by doing that, I'm talking about intros, outros, and some sound effects as well. So most games start with a title sequence. You'll be familiar with this if you're a video game player. Usually they show the name of the game, the author, the company, the backstory, what's going on, what the game is about. They often have a cutscene these days, an impressive cutscene to get your adrenaline pumping and show you what's going on in the game. Sometimes those cutscenes are there so while the game is still loading, it gives you something to watch, which is quite clever, isn't it? And usually you can walk away from the computer, make a coffee or something like that, and when you come back the game is ready to click and start. And that's what we need for our game, because at the moment when we run our game it just goes straight in, doesn't it? Right, so I've created a new template, lesson 4. You should be able to download it. At the moment it's a mess, so let me just run you through some things I've done in the meantime. I have created some extra objects. I've now got a game over object and a title object. I've created a new background. And I did that, by the way, by using this 8-bit retro games converter. I'll stick the link up for that, retromancers.com. It's brilliant. You drop a picture in, it turns it into 8-bit art and makes it look all pixely and fun. So I'm going to use this picture as my start screen, and I want these, or this in particular, positioned over it. So how am I going to go about doing that? Let's have a look at the old presentation again. So to add our title screen, we want some algorithms. We need some stuff that it's going to do in order so that it will work. So when the green flag's clicked, we're going to hide everything. rather than at the moment when the green flag is clicked it sets up the first level, doesn't it? We're going to create a new level called level 1. So instead of just running level 1 when the game starts with the green flag, it's going to go to the title screen instead. And then when you click on the start button, it will go to level 1. So we're just adding an extra step before the game starts. We're going to do the same thing with the game over pretty much. When he dies, we're going to broadcast. Remember broadcast messages last time, level 1, level 2? We can create a message that goes to all objects in the game. If you haven't watched lesson 3, watch lesson 3. We went over that. Basically, it sets each bit of the game up so that all the objects are in the right place. We're going to do a game over message. Basically, the game over message will make most things disappear. It will make our title screen reappear, and the game over message, which is here, will appear over it. Okay, at the moment you can't see it, but it will appear something like that. That's okay. Now, just to mention, these two pieces of lovely text that I created, I used Cool Text Graphics Generator, which is another free website. It's really good, and if that's up on my screen at the moment, I'll just give you a quick demo of that because it's rather fun. Let's do the burning writing, and you just type in whatever you want. It creates the graphic, not too long hopefully, then you create the logo and you download it. Job done, and you can put that into your game. While we're doing that, let's import that, shall we, just remind ourselves how to do that. So we click on this choose a sprite button, upload sprite. You'll get a little window which might not be appearing on my screen at the moment where you can find the file you just downloaded. Apologies for that not appearing, and there you go. So that was easy, wasn't it? We can create text for our game very easily indeed, and then indeed same thing for this, just the same process, load it into your game. Okay, I'm going to close those now. I'm going to go back to this. I'm going to get rid of Coding Coach Rocks. We don't really want that in the game. It's a bit too egotistical for my tastes, believe it or not. Right, so what have we got to do? We have got to do the game over thing and that. Right, here we go. Here's our algorithm for what we need to do. First thing we're going to do, we're going to create a start button. We need a button on our start screen, and we haven't got one yet. So let's go to this, and I'm going to do it the shortcut way. You can create your graphics any way you want. You can use Piscal app, you can use what I just showed you just now, any way you want really, but I'm going to do it really quickly. So I'm going to go in here. I'm going to find a buttony object. What should we use? That looks quite nice. Let's go with that. We've got a button. Let's move that button somewhere sensible. Don't worry about anything else yet. And I just want to edit that button. Actually, I think that button is going to be too complex, isn't it? It's got two states. That's a bit fiddly. I don't need that. I'm going to get rid of that, and I'm just going to go in here and I'm going to put some text over it. And I'm going to put click to start. Again, bit of a rush job. You can make it look prettier if you want, but that will do the trick nicely. I might just change that font colour because it's a bit hard to see on my screen. If you're a dog, you probably won't be able to see it at all, will you? There we go. There we go. We've got a click to start button. It matches my coin colours as well. That's lovely. Right. Now then, what was next on my list? When it's clicked, it's going to broadcast level 1 start. So, obviously, remember from the previous lessons, we want that on the screen at the start. So, let's move it into position. 182, 144. Yep, the X and the Y positions, remember those. And then show the button. Done. Okay, now we need a second piece of code. So, we'll do it in a different block because it's easier to manage later. And we'll say, now then, how do we detect if this has been clicked? Well, the mouse has to be on it and the mouse button has to be pressed. So, we are going to do an if. And we're going to use and from the operators because we've got two things that need to be true. Go to sensing now, and we're going to say if we're touching the mouse pointer with our button and the mouse button is down, then we're going to go to the next screen. So that's where we're going to broadcast our message. At the moment we've got some broadcast messages. We've got level 2 start, so we've got we need a level 1 start. Whoops, I'm on the box, level 1 start. Okay, so when it does that, it's going to send a message to every object in the game saying level 1 start. At the moment, if I run that game and I click that, absolutely there's nothing happening and I can play the game. I can't see my title screen or anything else. Everything else works perfectly as we've done before. Right, let's just check in on Facebook, and my goodness me, we've got a lot of people. There's some of my students watching. That is very cool. Mr. Sybil, good to see you. That is awesome. I'm just going to type a message on the screen. To see you. That's awesome. All my worlds are colliding here. And we've got quite a few people watching as well. Good stuff. Right, I'll carry on then. That's made my day, that has. Right, so we've got a click button. We want everything else to be set up for the start of the game. At the moment, if we look at Bob Ross, when the game starts, where's the right message? There it is. There's a level 2 start. My code has got horribly messed up, so let's just clean up a bit and see if that's tidy things up. There we go, and that's the one I want, isn't it? When the game starts, it's showing Bob and he's moving there. I don't want to do that anymore. I want Bob to hide at the start of the game, so I'll separate that. I'll go to looks and I'll hide him, and I'll create a new event called when I receive level 1 start. It's on the right one. That's handy, isn't it? So when I receive level 1 start, show. So now, the start of the game, before I click that button, did you see that? Let's just do that again. Bob Ross appears. So it's not there until I click start button. That's perfect. So let's work on a few more objects in the same way. At the moment, the background, let's not do the background yet. Let's do platform 1. So there you go. Level 2 start. Level 1 start is the green flag. We don't want that, so we separate them. We say when I receive level 1 start, do that stuff, and when I receive the green flag, hide. So now there's another platform gone as well. When I click that button, let's try that again. There we go. When I click the button, they appear. The reason Bob's coming up with game over, by the way, is he's falling through into the lava before he's even on the screen. We'll sort that one out in a minute. In the meantime, we need to carry on making these objects. Now, the lava is always on the screen at the moment, but I don't want that anymore. So, when the game starts, we're going to hide the lava. Actually, we better put it in position as well, because I haven't actually told it to yet. 4173, that'll do. And then we'll hide it. And then we know that it's going to be in the right place. Remember, we went over that before. If every object we put that in, go to, and their positions at the start of the game, we'll never have any weird errors with them moving around. Let's have a look at Facebook. We're good. We've got a few people watching still. That's excellent. No questions yet. Do fire your questions up on the screen if you have any, and I will do my utmost to answer them as I go along. Right. And when we receive level 1 start, our lava pit is going to appear. Now then. And as I go along, I'm testing. So I click my button and everything's appeared perfectly. So all I've got to do is make sure that all my level 1 objects have this structure. When the green flag's clicked, we hide them. We better be consistent, actually. We just put hide, and then we'll put the go-to when the game starts on the right level. That's more consistent with the other objects, isn't it? Right, platform 2. Let's do that. Now, you could do a bit of copying and pasting. You could do a bit of using your backpack. Shall I show you the backpack quickly? I don't think I can, actually, because I have to change the coordinates on each one. Maybe I'll show you the backpack on something else. Right, so separate the code, add the level 1. We're going to do the same thing several times and then hide it. As you go along, test your code. There we go. We've got 1, 2, 3 more objects to do. I'll do them very quickly. This platform, while I'm going along, I'm tidying up my code because it's gotten a bit of a mess, isn't it? So clean up blocks. There it is. Just chuck them up the corner there. Separate that. Level 1, looks, hide. The repetition, if you do things in repetition like this, you learn them really well, by the way. It's a great way to learn, it's practice. Level 2 start is fine, I want that one. So again, separate, level 1, level, and when the game starts, hide. So, bing. Whoa, we're so nearly there, aren't we? Right, couple more to do. This is going to be interesting. Can I find them? There's one, there's two. There's a few things going on here. So we take those off. It's all about being consistent. If you do the same thing on each one, it will make sense later on. And then hide. That's the coin sorted. Boom. Excellent. Good. And then when I click that, it all appears nicely. Great. What do we got left? We've got our portal. Let's do him. So, set level to 1. We haven't got levels on the screen at the moment, but we'll leave them there. Separate our code. Make sure you separate the right bit of code. If it's got a forever in it, leave it alone. Events. Level 1. Finally, here we go. Looks and hide. So we've done that about half a dozen times on half a dozen objects. We've now got click to start, and I'm just going to hide a couple of these variables that we used last time to test. We don't want that, and we don't want that at the moment. I'm just tidying up a bit. Okay, so at the start of the game, when we first run the game, that's what we get. That's our title screen. It's not completely there, is it? So costumes for the background. Let's change the background to our title screen, which is title screen. There it is, and it's Bob Ross. You see how this is coming along here. There we go. And right, so start that. Now some code for that. Let's think about what we're doing at the moment. When the game starts, that's not the background code, is it? Oh, and now I've created something I didn't want to create. Right, when the game starts, it's switching to level 1, and when it gets to level 2, it switches the background to that. So again, very similar process than before. Actually, let's just change that to the title screen, and then if we duplicate that piece of code and change that to level 1 and that to level 1. So when the game starts, show the background. When level 1 starts, show level 1. Level 2 starts, show level 2. And lovely, look at that. So we should find, if we can get, whoops, game over. We can get through this without dying. Let's try that test again. There's a little bit of a glitch with my code there, isn't there? It doesn't always run properly. We'll have to look into that later. There we go, and level 2, excellent, and there's my portal for level 3, which we haven't done yet. There's a problem, isn't there? Let's just do that again. That button is not disappearing. We want that disappearing button to disappear. So, broadcast level 1 start, and then hide. Let's try that again. That's better, isn't it? Just check it's not on level 2. It shouldn't be, because we've done everything right. Okay, and there's our level 2 portal, which we're going to have to jump into. I've hit the game over there, haven't I? Right, so we're nearly there. Here's our title text. I can't see it at the moment, so I'm going to click on this I. Let's move it into position. Start the game. He's going to need some code to appear as well. I think that's a good spot for it. So Bob Ross, the video game, click to start. Yep, looks pretty good to me. Okay, so code. This is going to appear when the green flag's clicked, isn't it? And it's going to disappear on level 1. So it's very much like this button. So move it into position. Let's just check the coordinates are right. Now, for some reason, they're not, actually. I wonder why that is. Let's check the costume. The costume's okay. Don't know. Be careful with that. Sometimes, for unexplained reasons, that is not the same as that. So let's just make it the same. Minus 82. It's not the end of the world. It's just a little bit of a glitch by the looks of it. Right, and we want it to show. Then, just like before, well, it's the opposite of what we did before. When I receive level 1, we're going to hide. Okay, so that will make the text, it has moved a little bit. That's very strange, isn't it? Let's just put him back there. Minus 101, minus 111. I'm just going to fix that because it's annoying. I like things to work the way they should. Right, run the game again. That's more like it. Now, when it receives level 1 star, it disappears. That's pretty good, isn't it? Okay, so that's our start screen sorted. Let's have a look on the thing. We're all good. Oh my goodness, I've got so many people watching. This is wonderful. If you've joined us for the first time today and it all seems a bit confusing, don't forget there's 3 other lessons to watch, so you can catch up on those, okay? But don't leave us today. Have a watch anyway, and you can always watch these back later on. That's wonderful. How exciting. Right, okay. So that's our start screen done. Now, for our game over screen, effectively, I'm going to say Bob Ross the video game, click start. Instead of Bob Ross the video game, we'll stick a big old game over on the screen like that. There we go. We could put it there, couldn't we? And we won't want that. So I'm just going to hide that. That's how our game over screen could look. I think that's pretty good. So let's get that done. How are we doing with our checklist? I think we're doing quite well, aren't we? Yep, we've done all that. Show game objects when level 1 starts. Yes, all done. Change the title screen when the green flag's clicked. Yes. Show the title sprite and hide it when level 1 starts. And when level 1 starts, change the background level to... We've done all that, haven't we? So that screen is pretty much done, apart from playing a cool sound effect. We'll come back to that in a bit. Game over screen. Change any existing game over code. Broadcast a game over message. When a game receives game, or a game object receives game over, it should hide. I think we've already done that, haven't we? I'm pretty certain we've already done that. Let's test it. Start the game. Fall off a platform. Boom. Game over. 2 seconds later. Not so good. All right, okay. So we've got a bit of work to do there. So, first thing, let's look at Bob, because Bob has the game over code, doesn't he? And it's probably all over my screen. There's one bit, and there should be another bit. There's 2 bits. One is for Evil Bob. If you remember on level 2, there's Evil Bob. And if he touches him, it's game over. And also, if he falls in the lava. So that's the bits of code I'll need to remove and change to a new broadcast message. And we're going to have a new broadcast message called... Can you guess? Game over. Take that out. Do the same there. Let's duplicate that. Drop it. Whoops, I've got far too much in there, haven't I? Let's just take that bit out if we can. So, if he touches the lava, it broadcasts game over. If it touches game over... Whoops. If it touches Evil Bob, we broadcast game over. Now, we are now going to have to go through again and say... what happens when an object receives game over. When I receive game over, we're going to hide. Okay? And that is going to be the same on every single game object, because it might be on level 2 when we die, it might be on level 3, level 4, whatever. We want that on every one. So this time, I'm going to put this in the backpack. The backpack is a brilliant thing. I had it pointed out to me the other day because it's new with Scratch 3, I think. And if you drop those in there, come on, in you go. There we go. Right, that's my piece of code for this. And every object is going to need that. So all I've got to do is drop that in on every game object, and it's going to take less time than we did earlier because we're just essentially clicking and pasting it into each object, aren't we? Let's just check we've got it on each one. So we need it on there, we need it on Evil Bob, we need it on the coin, so I'm just dragging and dropping into there. It'll be on there somewhere. I'm not really sure it is, and I haven't really got the inclination to chase it up and find it right now because I want to get to the bits that you need. Okay, so every object now has... Hello, where's he come from? Let's just hide him for a sec. Excuse me, would you mind going away, please? Thank you very much. Right, click the game to start. So after... Boom, there we go. So the game over message is making everything disappear. At the moment, we can't start the game again, and it isn't telling us what's going on. So, back to our checklist. Show the game over text sprite. Show the start button again so the game can restart. And again, we said play a cool sound effect, but we'll do that later. We are flying through this, though. It's good stuff. Now then, back to our backdrop. Good time to look at this. You can normally fix it by double clicking. Oh, double clicking the sprite. Hey, hi Phil, good to see you. Right, so double clicking the sprite will fix it. Fair enough. Good to know. So let's do the game over message then. So we'll say, we've already done that, haven't we? I think we've already said we want it to hide at the start of the game. Surely we'd have. We haven't. Rookie mistake there. Start the game. Let's make sure that's hiding. Otherwise it will stay on the screen. That's what happened just now, wasn't it? And when I receive game over, let's just make sure it's in the right place. Double clicking the sprite. Aha, there we go, yes. And if I go to that, go to 3-1 Rob, you're a genius. Well done. That's great. That's fixed now, so it's got the right coordinates. And show. So now we should be able to test it and see that it is game over. Lovely. Bit of code on my button so that my button is revived. So when the green flag is clicked, go there and show. Oh, this is going to be easy, isn't it? So all we want to do is receive game over, duplicate, boom. I think that creates the loop and we can keep playing. Like, oh, we were so close. What did I forget to do? When that's clicked, it hides, but it didn't hide when it received a level 1 message, did it? So let's duplicate that code, because what happens is when the button's clicked, it broadcasts level 1, not the green flag. So I need one of these pieces of code for level 1 as well. And that should take care. Oh, what's going on? Let's start again. That's better. Click to start. Why is that there? Get off my screen, you. Right. Click to start. What have I done? I've put show. Silly boy. What am I doing? When I receive level 1 start, see, you get your brain into the wrong gear and stuff like that happens. Okay, so it will work now, won't it? Because I've done the right thing. Whee! Game over. Click to start and back we go. Up we go there. Let's just test it on level 2. It's good to test your game thoroughly. Let's kill it. Bam, game 2. Look at that. That's wonderful, isn't it? Ha! That didn't change, did it? Should we get the background to change as well? I quite like that, but do I want my title background back up? I guess that's down to my choice, really, isn't it? If I wanted my background to change as well when it's game over, I need some code on my background, and I need to say, well, I suspect you've worked it out by now. When I receive game over, switch the backdrop to the title screen, and that will just take us back to that screen. Really, then it comes down to choice, preference. If you want it to go back to that backdrop, there you go. Look at that. Nice. Okay, good. Right. So now you can put your levels in, level 2, level 3. You can set those up. You can have your start screen, your background screen. All very good, isn't it? It starts to look like a rather convincing computer game. We could put some instructions in as well, couldn't we? So we could create an instruction screen, broadcast a message from a button to show the instruction screen. There's all sorts of ways you can apply this. Okay, so that gets us through all of that. Now what I haven't done yet, if we get time, I said we're going to import some sounds into our game and add them when things happen. And that is another piece of gloss on your game that makes it even better, makes it very impressive. I have already, if I can find where I put them, have I got some screens? I thought I had some. There's a sound effect. What's that? That's a pop sound effect. What does that do? Oh, I like that. That's quite good, isn't it? It's quite loud in my headphones, actually. It hurt a little bit. Let's have a look at the background. I'm sure I put some different sound effects in here. Maybe I didn't. Not a problem. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to sounds. Now, what object is going to play a sound? First of all, the title. We might as well put the sound on the title, and then it'll be attached to that, and we can write the code on that for it, which is a logical place. Another good place to put it could be the background. So we could put it on the backdrop, and we could say on there. We've got quite a lot of code on there already, so that would make sense as well. So when we switch to the title screen, we could say, for example, top of my head, play some music. So sounds, we're going to go to import. Again, the sounds are on my computer. Let's see if I can just show you. Hang on a second, I'm going to have to add something to my broadcaster. It's going to take me a second. Bear with. Window capture, add source. And I'm going to do a new one. Let's see if I can get this to work. Open. Has that done it? Yes, it has, isn't it? That's on my screen now. You can see my folder. That's pretty good on the hoof, wasn't it? You can see my folder where I've downloaded some Bob Ross sounds. They're MP3 sounds, so they're not very big. And we're going to import all 3 of those into our game. Actually, no, we're not. I'm going to go here. I'm going to find the Bob Ross theme tune. There we go. So I found the file on my computer. There it is. Oh, that's loud. Can I make that quieter? That hurts. Let's just make that a bit quieter, shall we? A bit quieter still, I think. Now, I don't know what that's coming out on the playback. It's still a bit loud for my liking. You can set this to whatever you want, okay? I might make it fade in. And I might make it fade out too. That's quite fun, isn't it? Right, there we go. So I've played with my sounds. Oh yeah. Dun, dun, dun. Right, so all we need to do now, we've got our lovely sound effect. When the game starts, I am going to play the sound. So when I click the game, oh yeah. That's pretty groovy. So again, a person playing your game in full screen will click on that. And they get the music. It's good. Great stuff. It could get annoying after a bit, but never mind. So when I receive level 1 start, switch the backdrop to level 1. Now I think a good thing to do here would be to stop the sound and then switch the background to level 1. Excuse me. Right, and if I click that, the sound stops. That's great, isn't it? So then at the end of the game, if we wanted, we could put the sound effect back in, or we can not. It's up to us. I've actually got a better idea. For the game over screen, I'm going to use a different sound. So when I receive game over, switch backdrop to that. I'm going to add another sound to that. Now hopefully, because of what I just did, when I do this, you should see that on my screen. Excellent. Back to my downloads folder. I've got the perfect sound for game over. Because we don't make mistakes, only happy little accidents.
We don't make mistakes here. We just have happy accidents.
Perfect. Okay, so I might just make that a
We
little
don't make mistakes here.
teensy bit quieter. Code. And we'll drop that sound on the game over. That's going to be glorious. Let's try that. Full screen. Let's just make sure we've run the right game. Okay, let's test it out. I'm going to test it on Evil Bob this time.
We don't make mistakes here. We just have happy accidents.
Fantastic. Start the game again.
We don't make mistakes here. We just have happy accidents.
Oh yes, I am well pleased with that. That's perfect. So now we are really rocking this Bob Ross. Okay, so I have showed you, well, what have I showed you today? I've showed you how to do a start screen. We used broadcast messages, just like we learnt about in lesson 3. So if you need to go back to lesson 3 and have a look at that, please do. It's on the page and it's on the YouTube. How old did that sound? Game over screen, same way, broadcast that. Go through this again, watch it again, make sure you understand it. If you have any questions, please contact me. You can contact me on my Facebook page, or you can email me via my website, Coding Coach, Luke at thecodingcoach.co.uk. There's plenty of ways to contact me. Okay, and we've done some sound effects, so we've imported some sound effects into that. I got my sound effects off the internet. You could make your own sound effects. Shall I just quickly show you how to do that? Because I'm suddenly feeling a lot more confident about this adding Windows thing. So if I do sound, have I got a sound recorder on my computer? I should have. Yeah, that'll work. Let's do that. Right, so what I've just done, and I need to add that to my presentation as well, I've just opened an app that comes with Windows 10 called the Voice Recorder. And I'm going to quickly add that to the presentation so you can see it very quickly. There we go. Done. Oh, it's not showing it on the screen. Why is it not showing it on the screen? That's a bit silly, isn't it? I don't know why it's doing that. Okay, so the voice recorder basically connects to your microphone. I'm going to have to close this because it's not working. Why is that not working? It's not got video in it or anything. Very strange. Oh well. I'm afraid that can't be helped. But take my word for it. If you open up the voice recorder or the sound recorder on your computer, or you can do it on your phone if you prefer, and then email it to yourself, you can record a noise. So where's my voice recorder? I'm going to go to voice recorder in Windows. There we go. Right, okay. I'm going to hit my record button. Did it work? It did. So now I've made a noise. Excellent. Okay. So where shall I put that? I shall call that click. Now I think you can see that on your screen right now. Maybe you can't. Oh, look at that. That's gone horribly wrong, hasn't it? I do apologise. Let me just get rid of that revolting window. My apologies. Right, okay, so I've created a file called click, which I'll drop in my downloads folder. I'm just going to create one more in voice recorder. And I'm going to go, oops. I'm going to go, boing. There we go. Can you guess what I'm going to do with that? I wonder. Let's go to, just check that works. And I'm going to, that's the wrong one. Right, try that one. Boing. That'll do. It's not perfect, but you'll get the idea, okay? So we'll call that boing. We'll drop that in the downloads folder. I'm sorry you can't see this. You will see it in a minute, I promise. Copy. Click on downloads and paste. So we should have a click and a boing. Good, I've got a click and a boing. Right, always good to have a click and a boing. Now then, let's add those sound effects to the game. So back to sounds. Let's do Bob. Let's go sounds. No, wrong bit. My apologies. You can add the sounds from the game, by the way. There are some plenty of sounds here. In fact, that's another way we could do it. We got bubbly noises. Well, it took a while to load, didn't it? Oh, there's their boing. Boing. Lovely. Mine's better. Let's go to upload sounds. Hopefully you can see that on your screen, which you can. So then I'm going to go to downloads. It's not showing them. Is that because they're in the wrong format? Let's hope not. If this is... looks good. Hang on. Come on. In you come. Oh, it's taking a long time. This could be a disaster. That's not going to work, is it? Right. So it looks like you have to record your sounds in the right format, and mine aren't in the right format. So I've messed that up. Not a problem. We'll reload the project. Hopefully it's still got most of it in there. And just check that's there.
Don't make mistakes here.
Right.
We just have happy accidents.
Go back to Bob, go back to sounds. Let's use one of Scratch's sounds then, because it doesn't like mine by the looks of it. Always wonderful when things... Pardon me, sorry about that. I just did a pop. Oh, yep, okay, we got a boing. Boing. That is a very loud boing. Boing, boing, boing. Lovely. Go back to the code. Now, where's the code for Bob jumping? If key space and not touch and code, do you remember that? So if he's touching the ground and you press the space key, he jumps. That sounds to me like a good place to put a boing. Let's do a boing. There we go. We only want it to do it once, so we make sure it's not inside that repeat loop. Away we go with our game. And... oh no, you know what's wrong with that? It's play sound until done, so it's doing that, then jumping. That's a horrible delay. Let's use start sound. Start sound is different because what it will do is it will play the sound and carry on running the rest of the code immediately. So it'll be a little bit more responsive. Yeah. That's not annoying, is it?
Don't make mistakes here. We just have happy accidents.
But you can see we're starting to get some noises in the game, and it's adding a dimension to it. Right, coin. Last thing I'm going to put a sound effect on, then I think I might just about be done here. Let's just check the old Facey book. Still got loads of people watching. You guys have been amazing today. Thank you so much for watching. You've absolutely made my day. I'm going to find the piece of code. Oh, messed that up, haven't I? Right, I really don't like the scrolliness of this. Right, there's the bit of code on the coin that we made in lesson 2, I think. If touching Bob, change score by 100. I want a sound effect to go with that. So I go to my sound effects. I want something tinkly. Something tinkly would be good, wouldn't it? Maybe it's got tinkle. I'm just going for a tinkle. Excuse me a second. We don't have a tinkle. We have got a teleport sound. We're going to use that in a minute too, aren't we? Triumph ones. What have we got? Oh, too much. I just want something a little bit more subtle than that, don't I? You can have whatever you want, by the way. Ow! Goodness me, they're loud. So many sound effects to choose from. That'll do. Let's go with that. It's way too loud, so we're going to just do that to it. Go back to the code, add the sound effect fairy dust. Don't use play until done because that will stop everything else working. Let's do change sparkly thing. Right, okay, so when I pick up coin, lovely. Should we do the teleport noise too? I think we should, don't you? Rude not to, really. Right, so code. When I receive level 2 start, that'll be a good place to put it because that's when we've just teleported, isn't it? Let's do it there. So, a lot of these things come down to what you think will work best. You can try different ways. Often there's 2 or 3 different ways to do something. It's up to you. Your canvas. You do what you want. It's your world, as they say. There's a teleport noise. Flipping loud again, so we'll just... Lovely. Right, code. When I receive level 1 start, no. When I receive level 2 start, yes please. Set the start sound. There we go. Now we have got some serious sound effects going on in our game.
Don't make mistakes here. We just have happy accidents.
Now, why did it do the only little thing there was it played that noise at the end. I have no idea why it did that because there's no reason for it to. However, let's just fall off a platform and test it.
Don't make mistakes.
No.
We just have happy accidents.
It was a happy accident. You're right, Bob, as usual. Okay, guys, I am happy with my code and my happy accidents. I hope you've had a good time watching this today. Your homework, go and have a go at this stuff. Watch the videos you need to watch again if you need to. You can always click through them and jump to the bits you need. But you should now be able to create a platform game with levels, with treasure, with baddies, with teleports, and with a start screen and an end screen. You can put sound effects into your game. In short, ladies and gentlemen, you can now make an awesome platform game. So take your ideas, create your game, and then please show me, send me it, share me the link on Scratch. Okay, every game on Scratch, if it's shared, has a link. So this one, for example, the Lesson 3 template, if I click on it, and if I send somebody that link at the top of my screen, they can access it. So if you take that, share it, send me the link, I want to have a little go at your game, because that would just be awesome. All right, guys, have a brilliant rest of day, and I will be back soon with more Coding Coach for you. Take care. God bless. Bye-bye.